Hey guys, today's video we're going to talk a little bit about dry eye. We're going to talk about what it is, how we diagnose it, how it's treated, what's the importance of treatment, and how it can affect you in your life. Welcome to Eyes on the Road. I'm Dr. Keith Poindexter. We're talking about dry eye today. Dry eye basically is a very common disorder that we see in clinic every single day. It boils down to it's simply a problem with the tear film, the lubricant layer on the surface of your eye. It can involve one and or all parts of that tear film. The tear film is designed basically from front to back with a oily layer on top of a watery layer, and then the part that's closest to your eye is what's called a mucin layer. So the tear film has many things in it. It has electrolytes, lactoferrins, immunoglobulins, salt, oil, mucus, all those kind of things. And just like a good vegetable soup, it has to have the right components in the right proportion. In that soup, if you have too many beans or too much water or too little salt or too much pepper, that soup's not going to taste too well. The same thing happens with the tear film on the surface of our eye. So we're going to first talk about the oily layer on the surface of the tear film. This oily layer is produced by glands on your eyelids. They're called meibomian glands. Some people have dry eye because their meibomian glands do not function correctly. This oil that the meibomian glands produce prevents our tears from evaporating. So if you think of two 5-gallon buckets half full of water, if in one bucket you pour 2 quarts of oil, you can come back a week later and the bucket that had no oil, that bucket's going to be completely dry because the water has evaporated. The other bucket likely is going to have most, if not still all, of the initial water. That's the job of these oils from the meibomian glands. Patients with this type of dry eye have evaporative dry eye, and treatment is designed to get the oil glands flowing better. There are other types of dry eye also, and another common type is what we call aqueous deficient dry eye. Basically, that's where the oil gland, called the lacrimal gland, that sits in the upper outer corner of each eyelid, doesn't produce the water component of your tears adequately. This type of dry eye is more common in autoimmune patients. This particular type of dry eye also has its own set of treatments. Certainly it's possible for patients to have a combination of both types of dry eye, that being evaporative as well as aqueous deficient. Those types of dry eye tend to be the most difficult to treat. Dry eye symptoms can range anywhere from simple annoying things such as a little bit of burning, stinging, itching, dryness, foreign body sensation, but also one of the most common complaints we see with patients with dry eye is that of variable vision. As that tear film on the surface of your eye breaks down, it can cause blurriness. So patients with dry eye oftentimes will say, "Doc, I can tell my vision changes." Sometimes moment to moment, maybe hour to hour, or in some cases even blink to blink. What's the importance of treating dry eye? Well, the problem with dry eye is it's a chronic, meaning once you have it, you always have it. Progressive, meaning it typically gets worse with time. Inflammatory kind of disorder. And if we don't respond to dry eye disease in its early to moderate stages, and we allow it to get to the end or more advanced stages, it can cause things like corneal scar formation, permanent reduction in vision, chronic red eye, all sorts of different anomalies that affect patients' quality of life. When we treat dry eye, we're actually treating two things. We're treating first the patient's symptoms, but secondarily, we're treating the disease process itself. The best analogy I've come up with to date is if you were to go to the bar and get in a fight and someone stabs you in the chest. If you go to the emergency room with a knife in your chest, you have two issues. The first issue, obviously, is the pain. That's the symptom associated with the knife in your chest. The second is, yes, there's a knife in your chest. So obviously, if you go to the emergency room and the doctor you see says, here's some morphine, I'll see you later, he or she did not do an adequate job treating the issue. The issue is the knife in the chest. So certainly in some cases, simply treating the symptoms with some artificial tears may be adequate. Most times we need to treat the underlying disease, or in our analogy, remove the knife from your chest. We do that typically with things like drugs, that's topical medications, and or sometimes with oral medications, and in advanced cases, even some types of surgery. If you or someone you know suffer from dry eye and you'd like to find out more, feel free to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel as we come out with more videos. I hope you'll learn even more about your treatment options. We'll likely break this down into the different types of dry eye and how we go about treating that. I hope this video has been helpful to you, and I hope you find some relief from your dry eye and that it doesn't impact your quality of life even further down the road. We'd love to have you subscribe and hope to see you later. And in the meantime, remember, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change.